The failed monarchy and the Omega King. Status. Protocol violation analysis. Objective. Identify the system glitch in the earthly kings and the patch, the future king. Solomon builds a global trade network with the Hittite Tyrian ships. The data. He brings in 666 talents of gold annually. 666, the mark of a human centered system. The crash. Despite his wisdom, he ignores the Deuteronomy constraints. He builds high places for the foreign gods of his wives. The Hebrew command center is now contaminated with Babel malware. The non Hittite necessity. The logic. David relied on Uriah the Hittite. Solomon relied on Egyptian horses. Both used worldly hardware to protect the Hebrew software. The need. Command realizes the human build is susceptible to pride and corruption. A king is needed who doesn't use the tools of the world to enforce the will of command. The Omega King encryption. The intel. Deuteronomy 17 isn't just a list of rules, it's a biometric profile for the true king. The failed kings rode war horses. The Omega King rides a donkey. Zero military posturing. The failed king sat on gold thrones. The Omega King has no place to lay his head. Zero economic dependency. The failed kings had many wives. The Omega King has one bride, the assembly of the faithful. The Deuteronomy audit. The Royal Archives, Jerusalem. Deuteronomy 17:16. The status. Critical failure in current lineage. Saul, David, and Solomon were type A generals. Command loved them as advanced scouts, but they were never intended to be the final build. They were flawed hardware. They took horses, they took the gold, and they definitely took the wives. Command is looking for the anomaly, a king who can rule the Euphrates to the Nile without a single chariot. A king who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills but doesn't own a silver coin. He is the shadow king, moving through the history, waiting for the time gate to open. Saul, the infrastructure, failed the integrity scan. He wanted the look of a king, but not the burden of the code. David, the expansion, failed the domestic security scan. His personal lust created back doors for enemies to enter his own house. Solomon, the globalist, failed the isolation scan. He integrated the Hebrew economy so deeply with the world, Egypt, Hittites, that the Hebrew identity was swallowed by the global market. We celebrate David and Solomon, but the Command's own Deuteronomy manual marks them as failed experiments. They proved that no human, no matter how wise or mighty, can handle the three high value corruptors: power, money, sex. This sets the stage for the second Moses, the king who would arrive with no army, no treasure, and no harem, yet would conquer the entire world system through a single tactical strike on the cross. Next mission step. The kingdom splits. The system is broken into North Israel and South Judah. The Jeroboam glitch. The creation of the alternative worship in the north. The prophet infiltration. Command sends special messengers, Elijah and Elisha, to operate outside the failed political system. Let's just look at how Judah is the king's line promised earlier. Only a portion of Levi is completely compromised. The special connection line, since Obed wed Ruth as a redeemer, secured one special family inside of Judah as Levite priests and resident Judah clan members set aside from the tribes that left the code. This is the sanctuary strategy. While the northern tribes executed a solo breakaway from the code, Command initiated a deep storage protocol within the southern sector, Judah. This isn't just a tribe, it's a genetic and legal lockbox. By merging the kingship of Judah with a purified Levite node, Command secure a remnant core that could survive the coming system crash. The remnant core status, strategic consolation. Objective, secure the Redeemer line and the priestly watch within the Judah sector. The Ruth Obed override, the genetic refresh. The situation. During the era of the judges, the Hebrew line was becoming stagnant. The strategic merger, Ruth, the Moabite convert who crossed over, and Boaz, the Judahite kinsman redeemer. The output, Obed. This merger was a genetic refresh. Ruth brought the tenacity of the outer cousin line back into the Hebrew fold under the redemption legal code. The result, this created a specific family house in Bethlehem that was hard coded for the kingship. The Levite integration, the Northern Leak. The event, Jeroboam, northern king, creates the golden calf system. He fires the authorized Levites and hires common assets to be priests. The extraction, the righteous Levites, those who refuse to compromise the code, flee the north. They migrate into the Judah sector. The consolidation, Judah becomes a double density sector. The kingly line, David, and the authorized priestly line, Levi, are now physically and legally joined in Jerusalem. The special connection house, the entail. Within Judah, one specific family line, descending through Obed to David, becomes the custodians of the code, the support. They aren't alone. Command tethers a portion of the Levites to this house. These are the temple guardians who refuse to let the Babel malware fully corrupt the southern system. The resident clan. They become resident Judahites but retain their Levite credentials. They are the deep state for command, keeping the lamps lit when the rest of the world goes dark. The set aside protocol. The separation. As the 10 tribes leave the code and eventually get delisted, the Assyrian exile, the Judah Levi core is placed under high security protection. The purpose, to ensure that when the Omega King arrives, he has a legal title, Judah, and a sanctuary infrastructure, Levi, waiting for him. The refugee priests. The border of Judah, Israel, is steady, marking a secure transfer. The faithful Levite status. Relocation to Judah sector. A Levite priest carries the scroll of the law wrapped in plain sheepskin. Behind him, a line of families crosses the border. The Judahite guard of the house of David meets them.
Why leave the north? They have gold altars there now. Gold is hardware, soldier. We carry the software. Jeroboam has hacked the system. We are going to the city of David. The kinsman redeemer line is there. That is the only place the signal is pure.
This is the great sifting. While 10 tribes choose solo autonomy, command pulls the kingship Judah and the priesthood Levi into a single bunker. They are resident Judahites, but they are the operational core. Without this special family connection, the link to Abraham would have been severed forever. The world sees Judah as just one small tribe that survived. Command sees it as the safe deposit box. By weaving the Ruth Obed line into the Judah Levi synergy, Command ensured that the true king would have a maternal line of redemption and a paternal line of authority. This special connection is the only reason the Hebrew name survived the total system crash or the Babylonian exile.